Hi, this is Rico with Maker Code, and in today's episode, we are going to look at two new robots that I got. One that I probably won't keep, but we'll try and put them against each other and see which one is better. The robots we're looking at today are the Roborock and the Dreame. This is the Dreame Aqua Roller Pro, and this is the RoboRock Q Revo Curv 2 Flow. These two are the latest in the roller mop area. So this is Roborock's new one that has just recently come out, and it's got the roller. And this is Dreame's Aqua Pro that has been out now, but is also in black, which is slightly different. Maybe people haven't seen that before. This is not my first set of robot vacuums. I started this journey in September where I tried the Eufy S1, not the Pro, just the S1. And I had issues with that one, but I really liked the way it cleaned. It scrubbed, it was a roller. I noticed in the dirt tray, there was a lot of dirt in the bucket. So I was happy, but the thing always broke. It had this air where either it was from the base station or the robot itself, but it would basically just say, pause, waiting, pause, waiting, pause, waiting, pause, waiting. It would drive me crazy. You would turn it on, it would start cleaning, and then all of a sudden, pause, waiting. And then 10 minutes later, it would stop doing that and start cleaning again, and then 5 minutes later, pause, waiting. So I worked with Eufy. They sent me another base station after a couple back and forths. The new one basically did the same thing. It would at least unpause and clean for like 10 minutes and then would pause again, pause, waiting, pause, waiting. So I said, forget it. I'm done with this. But my wife loved the way that it was cleaning the house. The AI on it, not that great. It would run over things. It would get lost, it would get stuck, but it cleaned really well. So the next one I went to was the Roborock Curv X. And that one, the AI, amazing. That thing cleaned, it drove around. If obstacles were in the way, if animals were in the way, if anything was in the way, it knew how to maneuver around everything. So it never got stuck. Sharp edges, tall things, it didn't matter. It would find a way to navigate through the entire house. Great. But this one was the wiping mops, not the roller. And after every cleaning, the ground did not look as clean as when I had the Eufy. So the Eufy S1, great cleaning. Now the Roborock Curv X, not so great. It left a lot of streaks on the ground, just streaks everywhere. I looked online. People were also complaining about this. I tried different ways. One of the things with the Roborock Curv X is when you fill the water, you put your soap into the water. So they basically say, put a cap full. So you put a cap full in and you go from there. Now I'm kind of learning maybe that Curv X was good and it was just Roborock's soap sucks, because I then got the Dreame Aqua10 Pro, and that one had great cleaning. Again, now I'm cleaning the entire floor just like the Eufy one did, even better. AI amazing, would work around the house, animals, obstacles, toys on the ground from the dogs, toys on the ground from the kids, sand and dirt being tracked in the house. It cleaned and went through the house great. But just like everybody else who owns an Aqua10 Pro, they know this thing, the base station, just leaks. There's nothing I could do about it. I talked to Dreame. We went back and forth. They said to clean these different nozzles. I cleaned the different nozzles. I tried they gave me a new wastewater bucket, put that one in. Again, they're telling me to clean, 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 try all these different ways to fix it. Wouldn't work. So finally, the return window for Amazon was coming up and I returned it. I just said it's not worth it. But at the same time, Dreame was having a sale that made it even cheaper than what I had bought the original Aqua 10 Pro for. At the same time, I also noticed they don't sell the Aqua 10 Pro on Amazon anymore. So you can even buy it on Amazon. But on their Black Friday deal, they were selling it on their website. And so when we were doing the return process, they were going to send me out a new one. And I was like, well, I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it to me. But since it is cheaper also, I'll give it a try. But this time I want the black one. When you have the white one, the dirt tray underneath is filthy. It's always dirty looking. So after 2 washes of the mop, it just looks disgusting. So you're always scrubbing it. On top of that, the base was dripping, so there'd be little drip marks all over the drip tray and the little ramp that goes up. So I thought, if I'm going to order this again, I'm getting the white one or the black one, because that should hide some of this dirt look, so I wouldn't have to see this dirty thing all the time. So I ordered it through the Black Friday deal off their website, received the unit, and it was a white one again. And it's like, no, not a white one. But I also wanted to see, is the leak there still? So I talked to Dreame. They basically said, look, you can use it now. When we get all the returns set up after Christmas, send it back and we'll get you the black one. So I said, fine. So I had a second Dreame Aqua 10 Pro white, and it leaked also. So 2 in a row leaked, exact same way. This time it took a little bit longer to leak. The first one, it leaked after like day 3. This one, it was like after a week and a half. Then I started noticing the leaking. By then, we were already talking with Dreame about the return. So I was like, it doesn't matter, I'm returning this anyway. And so when I finally got the return all done, just after Christmas, I was about to tell them, just keep it, I don't want it, just give me a refund. But they had already, that day, sent the unit, the black unit. So now I have a black one. The black with the gold accent, I like it. The gold here is more like a champagne color. The gold here is gold. The base itself is different looking. Then the white one, it has more accents on the faceplate. But everything else is the same, I believe. I don't think there's any revision changes between these two that I can see. I wish I had taken a picture of the exact model to know, but I don't notice anything different. So then now it's like, okay, at the same time, I'm in this, what we call the Amazon Vine program, and the RoboRock Q Revo, what is this one? The Q Revo 2 Flow came out. And that one is a mop one. And I told myself, if RoboRock ever came out with a roller mop version of the Curv X, I would get it, because that thing works amazing, except it did not like the way that the scrubs left streaks. My only complaint, the only small other minor one, was I had to add my own soap. And I was going through a lot of soap. I actually run the vacuum twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, because my dogs and my kids just mess everywhere. There's always dirt on the ground, especially now that it's raining. I can't keep up with it. My wife, when the robots are gone, because I'm returning them, she's like, I can't wait till we get another robot back, because it's night and day difference on our ground. And it's gotten to the point now where these things suck and clean so well that my hardwood floor, the gaps between the 2 planks are now getting cleaned and sucked up, so that now you actually feel and see the gaps between the wood. And now actually my hardwood floor looks old, because this thing is scrubbing it to death. There's little pit holes I'm finding. There's little gaps I'm finding between some of the boards. It's sucking and cleaning all that out. So every day, twice a day, I run them. And twice a day, those buckets are filthy when I pour them out. So we're cleaning. My house was built in 1960s, so we're cleaning from 1960s dirt probably at this point now, where it just keeps sucking and cleaning the exact same spot twice a day. Suction, mopping. My floors can't get any cleaner than they are right now. Okay, so now we're looking at these two. What is the difference? which one do I think I'm going to keep? I have been running now this Roborock one for 2 days. Do I notice a difference between that and when I was running the Aqua 10 Pro from Dreame? Yes, I do notice some small differences. First, just in the maintenance, the Roborock, you have to add soap again. We're back to adding soap to the water. So the first thing that happened is, I don't know if because this is considered like they're still in between, they're not in their final production packaging. I'm not sure what's going on there. It didn't include soap, but I bought a lot of Roborock soap. Why? Because the Curv X, I was always using soap. I always had to put a cap full in. The Dreame, they give you a small bottle. When I return them, I've now had to return 2 of them, and I pour out the container back into the original container it came with. Tiny amount of liquid is used out of those. So this uses tiny amount of soap, way less than the Roborock did. And so I also noticed the Roborock had streaks again. How am I getting back to these streaks? I thought it was the rotating mop brushes that were causing all these streaks. So then it made me think maybe it's the soap. So they say you should stick to the manufacturer's soap, but I did start using the Dreame soap in the Roborock flow, and the streaks went away. So one day it ran twice. House was again all streaky. So I went from not having any robot, but previously having the Dreame, and the Dreame, my floor is clean. I get the Roborock, within 1 day, streaks are all back all over my floor. What is going on? So I changed the second day to the Dreame soap. All the streaks are gone. Coincidence? I doubt it, because the streaks have not come back after running this now for about a week. 5 days, I guess. So almost a week. No streaks. Streaks are all gone. Clean. Dirty water tank has definitely got dirty water. So I think I'm going to stick with using the Dreame. The floor looks clean as when I was running it with the Dreame. So that's the first thing I noticed, is that the Roborock soap might be the cause of a lot of people claiming to see a lot of streaks with their robots. The next thing I noticed is in the mapping. So when I ran the Dreame, it mapped out my house. And the Roborock, it mapped out my house. And the maps, they look almost the same. But I have a threshold between my kitchen and my living room that's not huge, but there's a lip. This one, the Dreame, in its mapping or its decision making with its navigation, will consider that ledge as 2 separate areas, and it will clean one side of that ledge and the other side of that ledge. The Roborock rides on top of the ledge, so it's tilted and it's riding along, so half the vacuum and half the mopping is happening. I don't know why it does that, but both the Flow and the Curv X did it the exact same way. They, on that threshold, rode on the side, where the Dreame, I'm going to try it now on the third one, but 2 of them at least, rode next to the ledge. So it was on the bottom, cleaned, and then when it was into the dining room area, it rode on top of the ledge and cleaned. It never was teetering on both. So the mapping on there, small difference in the AI and the mapping and all that, but not much. The next big thing is the brushes. When I had the Eufy S1, it had 2 brushes, none of them extended. The Dreame has 1 brush, and it does extend. I will say that I prefer the 2 brushes. The Dreame, when it shoots that arm out, it's kind of pushing the soap in, or the dirt into the middle. But it's got that 1 arm. It does extend into the corner. So when that corner is there, you get that little extra benefit of a corner. But it's only doing it on one side. So as it's going along, you say, oh, but it's vacuuming. So, you know, whatever is on that other side should have gone through that path. But I do notice that with 2 arms, it's shoveling it into the middle, just shoveling it all in the middle. It goes up into the corner, it kind of wiggles into the corner, and it's just kind of riding the corner. So it doesn't absolutely need that full extension. I didn't notice. If anything, I will say that the Roborock gets closer and gets more on the edge than the Dreame, even with the extended arm. So I did like that. And when you see it driving around, if for whatever reason, one of the arms kind of flips the dirt to this side, the other arm catches it and flips it back, sucks it in. Next thing, the double rollers here. I like the Roborock's rollers better. I do notice that the hair does travel in and I don't get any tangles. With these, on two of the units that I've had, there is sometimes hair around these lips and I have to sit there and actually cut them. These are supposed to shuffle it down and then they're not going to tangle, but I do notice that they tangle. So far with the Curv X and now with this one, I have had no hair tangle on these at all. If I say that now, and now I see one set of hair. Not a big deal though. For the most part, all the cat hair, all the dog hair, all the people hair does not tangle up. Let's see, what's the next thing? One thing that they do not tell you, and that drives me crazy with every single vacuum that I've had, let's see, this is always annoying, is when you buy any single robot vacuum, they always have inside of their dust container how's this one open? This is new because I never do it really yet. They have in here a filter. And when you buy any of these robots, they supply you with only the single filter. Now these are cleanable. So you clean these every once in a while. Well, I'm finding I have to do it every 3 days. So what happens is if you look here, where are we? There is always on one of these filters, doesn't matter which brand it is, a kind of a wet spot where the dirt just kind of attaches to. And it starts to clump up more and more and more and more. So this being a new unit, just like, oh, I got dust everywhere. Just like when I had bought the Dreame Aqua10 Pro, the filters are not readily available yet. So you can't just go and buy an additional filter. You got to go and find it on AliExpress or somewhere. You got to search. And so now with this flow, I don't have any extra filters. And so I can't just go and clean it without then having it not work for a day. Because after you clean it, it's got to dry. And a drying takes a good day of drying. So first thing I always do after I buy every one of these now is go and look for additional filters. So now I'm on the hunt. I believe, so now I got to buy them just to test that these are similar to the Curv, not the Curv X, because I have additional Curv X ones and they're not the same. The Curv X is almost this size, but doesn't have this piece on it. This is smaller than the Curv X. So I have extra Curv X's, but that's not going to fit in here, sadly. So now I got to go and find Curves and see if they fit so I can clean them. But I would suggest that is the first accessory you buy for your robot vacuum, because that allows you to just hot swap them, take the dirty one out, put the clean one in, let it dry for the next couple days until you're ready to do the next swap. But these always get dirty. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just something you live with these vacuums, that they do clump up eventually. Again, that one I cleaned already once, and I've only ran this thing about, I think, 5 days. So less than 2 days later, I believe, and it's already that dirty. AI. This guy versus this guy, I would have to say they're pretty much on par with each other as far as obstacle avoidance and mapping. I don't notice any specific issues with obstacles. I do know that the Roborock is a little more aggressive with going over poles. So if you have chairs that have long but small enough poles, it will aggressively try to go over them. The Dreame kind of avoids them. It kind of, if it can't go in between the two legs, it doesn't try to go over them. So I like that about the Dreame versus a Roborock. My Christmas tree, it's sitting there just trying to ram through all the legs on the Christmas tree. The Dreame, the only problem I had was it was in trying. I did notice that the Roborock didn't have that problem, where the vacuuming of the little skirt around the Christmas tree, it was able to vacuum it, where this one just kind of dragged it across. And so I put that as a no-go zone altogether. So I guess, yeah, it's not a total fair comparison, but I never noticed this guy the Dreame trying to drive over the poles, where the Roborock, if it sees a pole is going to go over it, it's just going to aggressively try to do it. But overall, two great robots. If I have to keep one, I wish I could say I could keep the Dreame, but I have very low hope that this one won't leak also. If this didn't leak, I would say the Dreame is better than the Roborock. But the fact that it leaks throws it out. The leaking, what happens is when it's cleaning the mop cleaning, it runs for like a good 5 minutes, where it's just scrubbing the mop. And after it's done scrubbing the mop, it goes into a dry mode. The dryer turns on. The dryer runs for 4 hours. You can configure it in the Dreame to be a little more. 4 hours is kind of the minimum. Where the Roborock, you can't do that configuration. I think it gives you like 2 options for drying, and I don't remember what even the second option was. I was so used to 4 hours, it worked fine with the Dreame. I just said 4 hours is fine. But when the Dreame is doing the cleaning, you start noticing a little bit of a drip occur in that washing process. And then eventually there's a ramp that the Dreame drives up on. There's like a seam, so then that water, days later, it starts to go down into that seam, and then you move the base to find a puddle under your Dreame. So here's some examples, but basically, yeah, it does drip. This one, specifically the Aqua10 Pro, the lighter goes up and down. It's kind of a cool feature, looks cool, but I don't really have anything that low for it to take advantage of it. So I don't know if it ever had to in my house. So having the Roborock with the high one, it's not going to affect me. The software, almost identical in quality. You won't notice that the Roborock or the Dreame software is any better or any worse. I will say I like the teleoperation of the Roborock a lot more than the Dreame. The Dreame's video quality is like 420. I mean, it's terrible resolution, horrible to look at. The Roborock gives you 720p, 1080p, I don't know, but it's nice to look at as far as that. I do know there was one time we were out for the entire day, and we did take advantage of the Curv X and using the teleoperation so that we could just call to our dogs, and our dogs came over to figure out what the heck is this robot having a human voice kind of thing. So the teleoperation is nice to have. It's, you know, on the little more expensive ones, you do get that up. And teleoperation is just remote control. You get to drive it around. You get to use it as a microphone and speaker. So you talk into your phone, it then plays it out the robot. So you get teleoperation to drive around if you want. There's even a mode, I believe in both of them, to go find your animal. So it'll go and search. Another cool feature that both apps have is object identification and then labeling. So as it's driving around, it says I found a cable, takes a picture of the cable, puts it on the map. You then can review the map and say, ignore these obstacles. They're not something to worry about. So case in point is a human or a animal walks in front of the Roborock, but it's at such a weird view, it can't figure out what the heck it is. It just labels it an obstacle that it's going to avoid. You review the map and say, you don't have to avoid that. That's something that you can ignore that whole area. Just go and drive it like you normally would. Where then sometimes there are cables that, you know, you've ran it from your nightstand to your bed. You know those cables are sitting on the ground and it says, I found these cables. And then you say, yes, avoid that area. Do not run over those cables. Thank you for not running over them right now. So all those options are there on both of them. AI works great on both of them. The driving and maneuvering through your house, the volume as far as on max suction, I always put them on max suction because I have dogs and dirt and just clean it all up. So max suction, they work the same. I do know the Dreame is rated for more, but I haven't noticed anything as far as my house goes, dirt-wise, if there's anything left. I do know the Dreame doesn't go all the way to the edge of the wall, especially like my couch. If you see any debris like right on the edge, lip of your couch, it's not gonna go and dig underneath your couch. The Roborock, it does a little bit more. It kind of nudges in there and kind of sweeps it out. So I kind of like that about the Roborock. If you have a Curv X or you've experienced a Curv X, everything's the same, just in a roller mop. That's basically how you can look at it. It is a Curv X without the LiDAR moving up and down, but the AI, the functionality, the maintenance, fill up the water, add some soap, you're ready to go. Water consumption. The Dreame uses more water than the Roborock. The Roborock is not using a lot at all. They both have voice, so you can talk to both of them, so you can tell them to do things. You can tell them routines, and you can tell them scheduling. So I have them scheduled to do morning and night. They automatically turn on. I don't have to remember to turn them on. And then if you remember the old days of using a Roomba, you'd have to go clean up before it's gonna run. Oh, if that Roomba's turned on, I gotta go pick up everything because this is gonna suck everything up or get stuck. No, if you forget, I mean, unless there's something you know, like if you have like a flat piece of paper, then it might have some problems and suck that paper around and drag it around. Or if the toy is just small enough that it doesn't recognize it as something to worry about, it will drag it around. But for the most part, it will just go and you can say, oh, I forgot, but it'll figure it out. And when things do get stuck or if it gets jammed, the app just notifies you. You hear a beep or a sound and you go walk over and you pull it out. Go. If you have like a Tesla and they say interventions, the interventions they're exactly the same as far as what goes on in my house. If something does go wrong, it's usually a piece of paper that got caught up into it and you just pull the paper, and it's usually they're big sheets that my kids are drawing on. So pull that paper out and then everything's fine. But other than that, no interventions. It'll run without any problems. It goes into my bathrooms, it goes in bedrooms, it goes in living room, goes in dining room, goes in kitchens. I don't notice anything. So I would suggest, if you want to partake in AI, robotics, or just have them made like you've seen in the Jetsons, buy one of these robot vacuums. If I had to choose one today that I could say you don't have to worry, choose the Roborock. The additional features that the Dreame has that make it just a little bit better are not worth it for the dripping. The dripping is not worth your effort. For the price that you're paying, should work. Doesn't work 100%. The Roborock, I've had no issues so far with it. Usually by this point, also in the Dreame, I am scrubbing after 5 days the tray. The tray is just, it looks gross, it's dirty. It's been raining here, so I expected that with the Roborock. Not at all. That tray cleans itself really well. So I haven't had to rinse it once. The Dreame, I usually rinse every 2 days because it's just caked on there. The Roborock, I haven't cleaned it in 5 days. I mean, there's a little bit of like hairballs stuck there. I don't even think I need to clean it. So I'm gonna let it run a little bit longer just to make sure. The dripping, there's no dripping that I've seen on the Roborock at all inside the shell. If you don't like that dome shape, it's a dome shape. You get the roller mop. The one big thing that Roborock didn't have was the roller mop. You get it now, and I think it was worth it. So I would suggest the Roborock. You won't be disappointed. This is Rico with Maker Code, another robot in my collection. I'm probably going to return one of them. Yes, I'm going to return one. But I will do another video on the robotic side of things. Why are these great robots? I will say the video will basically describe that these are the smartest, most impressive robot that any person can currently own in their house. It does something efficiently, uses AI, uses robotics, everything you would imagine that robots would do. I don't see a lot of robotics people even talking about them, as far as they're probably used to Roombas, where you clean just as much as a Roomba clean just to get a cleaning job. Where now these robots, they climb stairs, they have robotic arms built into them. Now I hear they're even flying in the new CES stuff. So yes, these things are what I imagine people will have as far as robots and not even blink an eye. You have a robot in your house, this will be the first one. Not the humanoid robots, not the dog robots. This is a real robot with AI, so you can even say, I have AI in my house. That should go in your house right now, today. So give them a try. Like I said, I'm going to make another video, talks about that robotic stuff, how it all works, the LiDARs, teleoperations, the AI, the camera, object detection, everything I've ever wanted for my R2-D2, for my RoboScout, for my Go2 Pro. This already has it, and it works. It just, you hit go, and it will clean your house, and it will do it with all the AI magic and robotic magic that you'd ever want. So stay tuned for that video. But thank you. And I will put, it's not on Amazon today. So when the Roborock Flow link comes up, I'll put that on my website. Try to use it to give me some affiliate link action with that. But yeah, if you like this video and you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, it's Rico with Maker Code. Please subscribe, like, helps me, and have a nice day.